Hi, hello, and welcome to the 13th episode of the Whips and Whimsy podcast. Hey, my name is Zenith. My pronouns are they, them. I am happy that you are here with me. This is my podcast where we talk about knitting. We also talk about some other things. I'm hoping to talk about reading this week and some life things. But yeah, go ahead and settle in. I am hopeful that we will have a regular length episode, which is somewhere in the range of like 20 minutes today. We will see how that goes. um, I have had pneumonia for the last 2 weeks. I still have a little bit of pneumonia. You can probably hear it in my voice. Every time I think I'm doing better, it gets worse again the next day. So it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So yesterday I was like, no, I'm doing good. And then I woke up today and I was like, well, I'm wheezing again. So, but I have a feeling I will last more than 7 minutes. I've made it through the entire intro without having to cough or cut coughing out of the thing. So hopefully that works out for us. I do have my water here though. The first segment we have today is a very short and sweet pig parade. If you are new here or if you've only been watching for the last couple episodes, in general, I knit a tiny pig every day and I show them on this channel. And I have not made them for a couple weeks because I have been sick. But one of the other things they make that is not a pig but goes into the pig parade is my chili pepper wheel, which looks all crazy because it's wound up right now. And this is every pair of socks that I've made so far this year. I've made a tiny chili pepper out of it. And so I'm behind on adding chili peppers back to this, but I do have one new one to show you, which is a sparkly pair that I made like 3 weeks ago. So I have a couple more to add, but I did get one done and I was like, oh good, I can show something for the pig parade, because every week I come on here and I feel bad and then I'm like, I'm sick and I don't need to feel bad. I also have 2 finished objects for this week because I was out sick from work all week and I had nothing else to do except knit. So I have these socks right here. These are the Get the Scoop pattern by Jennifer Bolu. She's known as Alindria Knits, but her name is different on Ravelry. I love this pattern. I love these socks. They're so good. I'm calling them my mermaid socks because I think that they look kind of like mermaid scales a little bit, kind of. I made these with, the contrast color is Bewitched Pigments Witching Hour. The main color is Blue Barn Fiber Squishy Sock in the color Spruce. And they're so soft, they're so good, and I am so excited about these. I'm already going through my scrap yarns to be like, when can I make another pair of these? Because I just love them so much. And then the other pair of socks I made, I just finished these yesterday. These are like my favorite pair of socks that I've made this entire year. This is a sock set. This is the Usual Haunt by Tiny Human Knits, and then I added in Deep Purple for the heels, and then I added in Stroll in the color Red Tail for the toes. And I love these socks. These socks are for me, and I'm keeping them forever. And oh man, I can't wait until October to like get to wear these socks because I love them. I'm feeling very like summer-ween energy right now. And so I'm so excited. We'll get to this in a bit, but I have sock spinners set up for me to pick future colors. And the next 2 colors that have been chosen are both also Halloween colored yarns. So I'm very excited to kind of like keep this train rolling right along. Anyway, that is it for finished objects. For works in progress, I have one, and it's not socks. I do not currently have socks on the needles, which is incredibly, incredibly wild. We will talk about that more in a second. So, hello. Look, it's my blankie. It's getting so big. I have not shown this in quite some time, but this is a self-drafted pattern that I am knitting using the Mermaid's Pearl 2024 Advent Calendar, which had 13 mini skeins in a progression. And I added some stroll in the color black just to give it some more, just to make it bigger. So I'm knitting this on the bias. As you can tell, what I was doing was I was knitting it for 30 minutes a day. And then at the end, I think it was every Friday, I would just put in 2 more stitch markers, and then that would be slip stitches so that there would be just like a tiny little bit of contrast in there. And then when it got as wide as I wanted it to be for like a throw size, I started doing decreases on one side, increases on the other, so it would stay on that kind of zigzag bias. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I started working on it again yesterday. I usually only work on this in therapy, which is why you don't see it very often, because that's 1 hour of knitting on a blanket every 2 weeks is plus like I use my hands in therapy, so it's not even like a full hour. It's like maybe 30 to 40 minutes of knitting, you know? Anyway, I ran out of sock projects yesterday, and so I was working on this, and I'm really enjoying it. I would like to have this done because there is another blanket I want to make. Which, you know what, we will get right into that. So yes, this is being worked on again. I'm gonna put that to the side. So, in other crafty things, I have one of those like 3-tiered carts from Michael's that like literally every person who crafts owns one of. And I keep my scrap yarn there, and it has been overwhelmed. There's too many scraps, too much going on, and so I was getting overwhelmed looking at it. So this week, I organized it a little bit better. It's not perfect by any means, but it's significantly better. So I did a couple different things. I took all of the sock yarns that I have enough out of to make another pair of socks. I put into one bag, and that's over there. I'm not going to show those. All of my mini skeins or pieces of yarn that I could use to do at least one part of a pair of socks, I kept on the shelf because that is where that is supposed to be. And then all of the pieces that are larger, but I only want to use them as contrast, I put on a separate shelf. And then I got 2 bags. So one of them, and this is, I feel like, going way back. One of them is just the scraps of my stroll tweed socks. If you've been watching from the beginning or from earlier on, you know, one of my goals is to have like a whole bunch of pairs of stroll tweed socks, and basically to knit them in such a way that it's like the main color of the first pair of socks becomes the contrast color in the second pair of socks. The main color from the second pair of socks becomes the contrast color for the third, and so on. So they can be like, you know, mixy matchy doing their thing. So I'm saving all of the scraps in this bag. Don't know if I'll do anything with them. I might finish making all my stroll tweed socks and then decide that actually I don't want this stuff and I'm just gonna like use them for whatever and just make tiny pigs. But I want them there just in case I do want like a coordinated, you know, cowl or hat or something. The other thing I did was, and this is going to look insane because I didn't organize it very well, but I took all of my self-striping yarn and I started putting it into a bag so that eventually I can make like a jelly roll or something out of it. A jelly roll blanket, because I've seen a lot of people do that. I don't know if I actually want to do the jelly roll pattern. I think what I want to do is like something similar, but I think I want to do like increases on either side and then like a center decrease in the middle, so it kind of ends up looking like a chevron of stripes, but it still has that kind of like jelly roll stripey effect. I think that would look super cool. There's probably already a pattern out there for this. I need to do some hunting. I would prefer to use a pattern than just like have to draft it myself, because I'm a chaos monger and I'll do weird stuff. But in the meantime, I have all of this sorted out, and this is the blanket I would like to be working on because stripes are cool and stripes are fun. However, I know that if I have 2 blankets at the same time, I will probably do neither of them, because Lord knows I barely work on the one that I have already. So I need to get that one done and then work on this one. Plus, I definitely don't have enough to finish a blanket in this one, so like there's also that. Anyway, so I have that coming up as an upcoming project when I finish my blanket. And then in the meantime, I have no socks cast on. So this was a testament to yesterday that I finished both of my sock whips at like 3 in the afternoon or something, and was like going a little bit crazy because I was like, I want to cast on a new pair of socks. And my general routine is that I cast on a new pair of socks on Friday, which is today. And I was like, I'm gonna wait till tomorrow, but oh my god, I don't have any socks cast on. I really want to cast on a pair of socks. So I did spin my yarn spinner, and so I have two yarn spinners to pick pairs of socks. And so I have one that's socks for not me, and then I have another one that's socks for me. And so the first pair I had completed was socks for not me, so I was like, let me spin that one. And the yarn that it chose, it's a sock set, but I don't like the mini skein that's with it. And so I was like going through all of the yarns I have and trying to figure out like a different color that I could use. And I realized that the color I want to use, I actually don't have yet. So this is so unorganized. Knit Picks is having a sale right now. They're having their summer sales, which are like really good. And I ordered some yarn from them this week. Mostly just colors to use for like heels, toes, cuffs. But one of the colors I got is Melon in Knit Pick Stroll. And I think that's the color I want to use for that sock set. And I don't have it yet. I just got the email like before I started recording that it had been shipped. So I was like, okay, cool. So I'm going to wait until that yarn comes in. And I'm not 100% that I want to use it. Like there's some other yarns that I could use, but I think I want to wait until it arrives and then decide whether I want to use it. So I went ahead and went to my other spinner, the Socks for Me, and spun that. And I got this lovely color, which I am so excited to knit with. Oh my god. It has all of these cool little speckles, and they're blacklight activated, and I love like the pops of neon green. So I will be winding this up like immediately after filming, like probably as this is uploading to YouTube, I will be winding this up. This is from Chem Knits, and this is the Halloween 2024 colorway. It says it has 2 different colors listed because I know that she did it 2 different ways. I don't know which one I have. So I have either Cauldron Bubble or Simmering Brew. But I am just so excited. This is an 85% superwash merino wool, 15% Donegal Neps. It has like a, I don't know how well the camera is picking up on it, but it has this kind of variegated, there we go, black to purple with neps, and then of course the little bits of neon green. I'm so excited. And then I love a contrast, heel cuff toe. So we're going to use the red tail again because I already had it in my bag anyway. So we're going to use that one and just go with it and have some nice summer weenie socks, because apparently that is the vibe. I did not bring the other yarn over here, but the Grim Grinning Ghosts, as you can imagine, is also a Halloween colorway. Although it looks kind of like a beachy Halloween. You'll see it when I start knitting that pair of socks sometime next week, probably. So that is that for knitting. However, for the last 2 weeks, I have skipped life stuff because I haven't been able to talk. Today, I am able to talk for long periods of time. So we're doing so much better, and that means I should talk to you about life stuff. So life is going. I was out of work again all week. I went in for half a day on Wednesday because my urgent care doctor, my regular doctor's been out of town. My urgent care doctor told me I should not go back for full days, and was like, if you have to go back, you should do like half days. And I was like, well, I'm running out of sick time at this point. So I went in for a half day on Wednesday. I was there for like 3 hours. I think I did literally one thing the entire time, and then was like, I am exhausted, and went back home. In other life things, I obviously have not gone to the gym for a couple weeks. However, I was doing that 8-week transformation challenge thing, and I gained 3 pounds of muscle in that time. I lost 2% body fat, and I won first place for my category, which is women's 18 to 39. So that was exciting. And of course, and I like there's a prize with that, so that's cool. I won like $250, which is exciting. And then yeah, it was like we did final weigh in, and like the next day was like when I got pneumonia, so I haven't gone to the gym since except to take after photos. Which was also like wild because I was like, I have pneumonia, and they were like, can you do a fake plank? And I was like, no. And then did a plank anyway, which is probably why I'm wheezing today, because that was yesterday. Anyway, that's been happening. God, I miss the gym. I miss like being able to function and talk to people. I am getting better. I feel like I need to keep reminding myself that I'm getting better, because what happens is I get better and then I don't get better enough, and then I'm like, oh my God, how long is this gonna go? Like, why does this keep happening? Why am I still sick? It's rough out here, okay? Anyway, I do have one final thing to show you. It is not to do with anything lifey or knitting. It is about reading, which we also have not talked about in quite some time. I want to show you something very near and dear to me. It is a notebook. It looks like any notebook. I think I bought this at Barnes & Noble. This notebook I have used off and on since 2017. It's my reading journal. What happens is I use it for a while, and then I don't use it again for like 3 years. And then when I want to start using it again, or like when I want to start keeping a book journal again, rather than just like getting, a new journal or whatever, I just pick this one back up. So it looks like I used it pretty consistently for 2017, 2018. And then it skips. Yes, so we have an entry from 2018 right here, and then the next one is 2023. And then it skips from 2023. Hold on. Oh my God, how long was I using this? It skips from 2023 to June 2025, which is now. So we're using the book journal again. I have not been reading like at all this year, and that makes me sad because I used to read all the time. I used to read pretty, like, any given year I would read about 100 books a year. That was my normal for many years. And I think right now this year, even with all of my sickness reading, which we're about to talk about, I think I've read 15 books this entire year, and we're basically in July. Like, July starts on Monday. So there's that. So I'm trying to get back into reading. And what I've decided that I like to do, because I watch some people on BookTube. I follow Nerdy Narrative and Mike's Books Reviews. And there's a girl named Liv that I forget the name of her channel. And also Courtagonist. Love them. Shout out to all of them. And of course, booktubers set TBRs, and then they read the things that they say that they're going to do. And I was like, I wonder if that would work for me. So I made a plan for June to read 3 books that you totally can't read because they're backwards. And then I just started taking notes of like things that I actually read and how I feel about them and stuff. And I read like 4 whole books, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, I've read 6 books. So I don't know. I'm having a great time with that. So I thought I would talk about, I'm not going to talk about all of them, but I'm going to talk about some of the things that I've read. Just as a little bonus for this episode, now that I can speak words and not die, which is really exciting. So I finished reading Asada, which is the autobiography of Asada Shakur. She was part of the leadership for the Black Liberation Party back in the 70s. She was framed for murdering a cop, and she ended up fleeing to Cuba and is still there. It was really interesting. It was how do I want to say this? It was like not like I wouldn't be like, oh, it's an enjoyable read, because like that's not the topic matter. um but it is the kind of thing where it was really eye-opening, because she's talking about experiences she had in like the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and the way that she was treated, and like police brutality and stuff like that. And you read it, you know, in a post 2020 world, and you're like, oh, we haven't come that far. So that was an interesting read. I also read A Gentleman's Gentleman by TJ Alexander. TJ Alexander is one of my favorite authors of all time. And this one was my least favorite of all of their books, which made me really sad. I also read Tarkin, which is a Star Wars novel. I didn't love that one either. It was okay, it was fine, but I don't know that I would recommend it. But then I got two winners. There was another book I read I'm not even going to mention because it was so bad. And there's two that I did enjoy. So the first one was Servant Mage by Kate Elliott. Incredible. It's basically like this post-revolutionary world that's still kind of like a medieval setting. And it's about a girl who's kind of like liberated from being like basically a slave. They call her a servant, but she's basically a slave. And the people who liberate her are still treating her like crap, and she's kind of like, just because you're a revolutionary doesn't mean that you're great. And that was really, really good. And then the last book I read, which I should have brought the book over here to like hold it up and show you, because it was so good. Oh my god. It's called Spiderlight by Adrian Tchaikovsky, and it was so good. So good. It's basically like these morally gray, kind of like a D&D adventuring party that thinks that they're like on the quest for light and goodness, and they're going to like defeat, you know, the big bad dark lord, but they need to be guided by a spider. So they go and they get the spider and they transfigure this poor creature into this like Frankenstein human-like beast. And they're like, you have to guide us. Ignore the garage door. I think that's my roommate. Or it's her boyfriend. Whatever. One of them is moving around the house. I'm so sorry. Anyway. And the whole book is about kind of like what makes you good, what makes you evil, what makes a person like, you know, inherently ethically moral, you know. And like, I don't think this is a spoiler, all the characters in the adventuring party are dicks. Like, every single one of them, they're just a bag of jerks. And then there's like this spider who's like, I did not ask for any of this. And they're like, you're super evil. And he's like, but I just be vibing. I just be chilling. And they're like, but you're a monster. And it's like, what makes a creature a monster? Like, what makes someone a monster? And it was so good. And like, I make it sound like it's a very serious book. It's not. It's definitely like a satire. It's definitely like poking fun at the fantasy genre and a lot of the common tropes that you'll read if you're a fantasy reader. It definitely has a lot of like really humorous points to it, but it also just kind of like, it just kind of challenges a lot of the ways that, you know, I think people like view the world, and a lot of like general worldview things. So that was a really, really good read. Oh my god. Like, I won't say I never put it down, because I did, because like, one, I was sick, and two, I was knitting all of the socks. But even when I put it down, I was still thinking about this book, and I'm still thinking about this book because it was just, it was so good. So that is most of what I've been reading. I am currently reading Words of Radiance, and I did last night, again, this is going to be backwards, but I did set a TBR for July last night. Oh, look at it. So I have books that I plan to read. I will talk about them as I actually read them, because I think that will be better than just being like, here's some books I want to read and then like getting stuck. But right now I'm reading Words of Radiance, which is the second book in the Stormlight Archive. It is a big chonker of a book, and I am reading it on Kindle. So I think I read for like 2 or 3 hours yesterday, and I got 10% of the way through the book. So the faster I get through that, the faster I can get through the rest of my July TBR, which is like what I really want to read. So yeah, I think that is everything that is up with me right now. I've not been watching anything. I only listen to music when I'm in the car, and I have not been in my car because I've been at home being sick. And yeah, I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you have an absolutely whimsical day, and I will see you next time. Bye.